To you, Black Hot Fire News Update at 7 with me, Dimore. I'll be telling you about what has been happening throughout the whole of Africa, what was hitting the headlines today, what are the theatrics that are happening in the African political space, economic space, and social space. A lot has been happening today, and we are going to be looking at some of the things that have happened. We have news from Sudan. We have news on a HIV cure that is on the way. They have made a breakthrough using gene editing scissors. I'll be telling you about how they are going to. There's a breakthrough in the HIV cure. I'm going to tell you about Senegalese election and what is coming up on the Senegalese election. I'm going to be telling you about Ethiopia and how there was a technical glitch in an Ethiopian bank and millions were lost. I'm going to be telling you about how doctors in Kenya are still in a nationwide strike for the 7th day. I'm going to be telling you about how the Kenya Bureau of Standard KEBS has withdrawn 6,000 bags of substandard fertilizer from the Kenyan market. This is after farmers were sold sand instead of fertilizer. I'm going to be telling you about how that 4 bodies of the Shakahola cult victims will be released to families next week. And of course, a lot of other news. So I hope you stay with me. This is Dimore, and I'll also be talking about the cashless economy and how there has been a shift from hard cash to virtual money in Africa. When I talk about virtual money, I'm talking about mobile money. I'm talking about mobile banking, which has formed a major part of Africa's economy. You look at Kenya, you look at Nigeria, you look at Uganda. Most of the transactions, most of the money in the economy is not actually hard cash. Very little money is in hard cash. So most of the transactions, most of the money, when you hear of a country's GDP, most of the GDP is in mobile money format. An example is, let us look at Kenya, for example. In Kenya, it is reported that about 70% of Kenya's GDP was mobile money. 70% of Kenyan GDP was in mobile money. That means only 30% of the money was. Remember, there are other virtual forms that the money can be in. It can be in banks. I'm not counting that. I'm just counting from the mobile money. That is the money that is in the mobile system using they call it the P2P system. I'm talking about the P2P system alone, peer to peer. That is money that is transacted by mobile. That is an example being PayPal, another one being M-Pesa. So 70% of Kenya's GDP was in form of mobile money, leaving only 30% to be shared amongst many other things, amongst hard cash, amongst other forms of digital currency such as crypto, amongst other forms of virtual banking system, virtual money systems such as banking. So that should tell you that Kenya and most of Africa, I'm not just talking about Kenya, because if you look at Africa also, in East Africa alone, there are 390 million registered mobile money accounts. That was in 2022. I'm using data from 2022. 390 million registered mobile money accounts. The value of mobile money transactions in East Africa in 2022 was at 491.8 billion US dollars. 491.8 billion is the value of money that was transacted using the P2P system, mobile money transfer in East Africa for 1 year alone. The value of money transaction in sub-Saharan Africa as of 2022 was about, how much was it? It was 832 billion US dollars. 832 billion US dollars is the amount of is the amount of money that was transacted using the P2P system. Active mobile money subscribers in Kenya as of 2019 was at 32.63 million in a country of 40 million people at that time. So that tells you literally everything. Number of mobile money transactions in Kenya as of 2019 was at 810.94 million. Value of mobile money transaction in Tanzania during March 2020 alone was at 3.9 billion US dollars. In Tanzania, 3.9 billion US dollar. Registered mobile money subscribers in Uganda was at 33.3 million. Number of USSD sessions in Uganda during the first quartile of 2022. When I talk about USSD, most of the transactions, especially mobile money transaction, use the USSD. They use USSD format. That is where you press some numbers and then star that start with a star and a hash at the end, and that is how you are able to access your mobile wallet. So in Uganda, the number of USSD session was 8. The number of USSD sessions during the first quartile of 2022 was at 8.2 billion US dollars. So I'm just trying to show you how much we use mobile money in Africa. It is USSD means unstructured supplementary service data. So when I say Africa is a continent that is currently running on virtual currency, it is currently running on mobile banking to be specific, then I'm not even exaggerating. It is a fact when I say Africa as a continent is running on virtual money. And they're going to be looking at, is this a good thing? There are several mobile money companies, mobile money providers. The biggest being M-Pesa, that runs in 7 countries in Africa. It is run by Safaricom and Vodafone. It is the biggest mobile money provider, service provider in Africa. There is also MTN that runs in Uganda and in some many other countries, also has a service. It is called Momo. So MTN's group mobile money provider Momo is also taking over in Africa with a lot of users right now. And I'm looking at the let me share the graph of how Momo has been getting active users as from 2018 to 2023. In the last quartile of 2023, they had about 63.5 million users. That is, and it is not even the biggest mobile money platform in Africa, not even close to Safaricom. But let me share the statistics on how it has been doing so that you can just see how popular mobile money is proving to be in Africa. And so we are going to be looking at the pros and cons. Is this a good thing for the African economy with the current infrastructure that we have? So these are just statistics from one of the, this is the second largest mobile money provider. It is called Momo, run by MTN. MTN is the service, the telecommunication provider, the biggest telecommunication provider in Uganda, alongside Airtel. It is also in some other African countries. And so look at the numbers as from the first quartile of 2018 to the last quartile of 2023. Just look at the numbers. At the first quartile of 2018, it was at 20 million, went up to 69.1 million in 2022, lost popularity for a little bit there, but the numbers are crazy. And this is just MTN. We've not looked at Safaricom with M-Pesa. We've not looked at PayPal, which is also a bit popular in Africa. So this data is courtesy of Statistica. They're the ones who are providing that data for me. So mobile banking is literally how Africa's economy is running right now. There are 144 mobile money operators in sub-Saharan Africa, with the 2 biggest companies being M-Pesa, Momo, and Orange Money. And so what has caused the popularity in the P2P system, that is peer-to-peer system? And by the way, there were, in 2019, 200 million users in Africa. In Africa, there are more than 200 million mobile money users. They use the ones that transact using mobile money. They made about 24.46 billion mobile money transactions. I'm talking about US dollars. And I don't know why this is so popular in Africa and not in other parts of the world, because 64 point the transactions that were done in Africa in 2019, as I said, were 24.46 billion US dollars. That was the transaction that done using mobile money. That is about 64.15% of all transactions made worldwide. So that means the mobile transactions in Africa make up to 65% thereabouts of the total mobile money transfers worldwide. So that means the rest of the world gets to share about 45, not really 45, 35%. 35% for the whole of the world to share. Of the 690 billion US dollars in mobile money transactions made in 2019, 456 billion US dollars was exchanged in sub-Saharan Africa. So that is just to tell you, mobile money has become a big business for Africa's telecommunication provider, and it has become the order of the day. So how safe is mobile money transfer? So it is basically backed up by some Python and JavaScript generated programs. It is a database oriented system that really heavily relies on database and stored data. That is, the database stores, for example, how much money you have in your account. And mobile money transfer works using SMS, text messages. So if I transfer 100 shillings to you, if I transfer $2 to you, then what you're going to get is a message saying that you've received, is a text message saying that you've received $2. Then $2 is going to be deducted from your database and added to the other person's database. So it is a heavily database reliant system. So it is basically database driven. It is about knowing how much money the database storing, how much money you have, how much money you've transferred, how much money you have left, and then working using text messages that are auto-generated using so the text messages come with a code. The code is auto-generated using most of the systems are Python or JavaScript. They're made from those two computer languages. About the PIN is the personal identification number. It is also stored in the database, but using what they call the hashing mechanism. So it is heavily encrypted using the hashing system. So what that means is nobody can be able to see your PIN. According to them, nobody can be able to see your PIN. Even they can't be able to see it, but they can't be able to. It is hashed. Hashed is the same as encryption. So encryption is where the numbers are. If your PIN is 2580, the numbers don't appear as 2580. The 2 is hashed to something else. The 5 is hashed to something else, and only the system can be able to decode. That is what they say. So that is the only way your PIN is safe. So, and I was looking if there has been any serious cyber attack on the mobile money systems in Africa. And Safaricom with M-Pesa has never reported any cyber attack. Not that I expect them to report in case such a thing happened, because of course that would reduce the customer confidence in them, and people would no longer be as confident as they are right now. People have millions and millions of money in M-Pesa, in M-Shwari. They transact millions per day because they have confidence that their money is safe. So in case there was to be a cyber attack, of course, this would bring down the customer confidence. And once the customer confidence goes down, then they would report losses. So there's never, Safaricom has not reported a major cyber attack. There has been attempted attacks on M-Pesa, most of them which they denied or said were not successful. So according to them, with the hashing system and the encryption, even if a hacker was able to access the database that has the personal identification numbers, popularly known as PINs, the hacker would not be able to know what the PIN means because it is encrypted. This is the same way they make us believe WhatsApp messages and are end-to-end encrypted. That is, if I type a message and send it to you, and somebody intercepted it in the middle, they would get some random message with some funny letters that you can't be able to really translate. So that is how the system works: end-to-end encryption, hashing, and a lot of database oriented. It is database backed. So the problem comes in with the current cyber infrastructure that we have in the country and in the continent. Are we really safe from attacks? Personally, M-Pesa has failed several times in Kenya, twice this year, and every time it failed, it caused a lot of losses. First, to business people, and secondly, it has caused a lot of inconveniences. I remember one time I was coming from town and M-Pesa stopped working, and nobody in the car, nobody in the matatu had cash. I think we were about two people who had cash. So everybody was stranded. Nobody had any money. They had money, but they could not access their money. And trust you me, the matatu owner went suffered a big loss, because by the time we reached where we were going, the service was not yet back up. Nobody had money to pay, and now all the matatu conductor driver did was write his details to every passenger and trusted the passengers to send the money when the system is back up. I don't know if they sent the money, but this inconvenience so many people. You drive by a gas station and vehicles had been fueled, but people did not have money to pay for the fuel. They had money, but they could not access it because it was in their mobile wallets. And if you were to walk around the streets of Nairobi, the streets of Kampala, the streets of Abuja, nobody has cash anymore. Nobody has the liquid cash anymore. We've become a continent that heavily relies on mobile money transfers, mobile wallets, the e-wallets. If you were to ask any Kenyan, any African, the last time they held a physical banknote, then it is a long time ago. Because we are now into that path. As I said, mobile money is now at 70% of Kenya's GDP. Mobile money transactions in Africa made up 64.5% of the world's total mobile money transfer. So in 2022, in Kenya, mobile money transactions reached 7.91 trillion. That is like 3 times Kenya's budget. Kenya's budget is at 2.3 trillion. But the mobile money transactions in 2022 were at 7.91 trillion, 3 times the Kenyan national budget. So literally, if you want to stop the African economy, the Kenyan economy, the Nigerian economy, the Ugandan economy, the Tanzania's economy, all you need to do is touch their mobile, their e-wallets. If you touch on the telecommunication company, you touch on Safaricom, you touch on Airtel, you touch on MTN, the economy comes to a stop. And I think Keith has joined me. How are you doing, Keith?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We are talking about the shift from hard cash to virtual money in Africa, with
Yes, sir.
mobile money making up to 70% of Kenya's GDP right now.
It's always a no-no because if your country, it's almost like digital currency. Where they can cut your currency off at any time. Like I said, it's always good for them to have cash on you, just in case. But that's what they're trying to see. They always do their little scams in Africa first, trying to push the rest of the world. Understand what this is? It's complete lockdown and control of your money eventually. They can shut you off for things you don't want, that they don't like you saying. They can cut your money off. No, you always stay with cash. Keep cash. I don't touch my credit cards. I don't touch my credit debit cards. I don't touch none of these cards.
Mm-hmm.
I get cash. I'm paying cash because I know the agenda to put everybody on digital currency so they have another form of complete control over it. That's what they did. If you go back and research what they did last year, it's been 2 years now. Wow. That's when the truckers in Canada were protesting these COVID lockdowns and also the cheering that was happening, they went to the Capitol. The government shut down all their credit cards and their bank cards. They
mhm,
couldn't access no funds because they were protesting the government. The government didn't like it. So people were like, whoa, yeah. And like, yeah, that's what the government can do. So they shut down all their banking systems. They knocked them out of all their money, all their digital money to their credit cards and stuff. So, no, that's always a danger, fam, because the banks are not controlled by the government. The central banks controlled by certain people. The government
mhm,
just do what they're told to do. As as that they'll be looking that up on Monday's show. He's showing you who control these banks. Damn sure ain't no government.
mhm.
So, so the people that want control of this planet. Good, but you got
And
it.
and as I was saying, if you are to touch on the mobile money, if you are to touch on the mobile money industry in the country, if you are to touch on the mobile money industry in Africa, in Kenya, you are going, if you wipe out, if something happened and wiped out the mobile money
Watch
database,
out.
then Kenya would lose 70% of its GDP.
Wow.
70% of its GDP is in form of mobile money. I told you in 2021, Kenya transacted 7.1 trillion in terms of mobile money. That is three times the Kenyan national budget. So
Wow.
that is how deep mobile money is right now. I told you, if you walk around the streets of Nairobi and you asked for cash, hard cash, you're not gonna find any. Nobody carries hard cash anymore. We are
Wow.
reliant. We are
That's
reliant,
scary. Yeah,
hundred percent reliant
because
on virtual money.
it's convenient. Because it's convenient.
Hmm.
You rely on it because it's convenient. That's dangerous. That's scary. That's what they want to push the whole world into, that digital shit. That's scary. It's scary because that's complete control.
And
Complete control.
the
And you
narrative
use
they
it because
sell,
it's convenient. Because it's convenient. But
the,
your
yeah,
convenience turns you into a damn slave. You're gonna be put in slavery because of the convenience. You realize, oh,
the
this is so
narrative.
convenient. No,
Mhm.
I mean, go ahead, tomorrow.
So I was saying the narrative that they sell with the mobile money transfer is called the P2P. They use the system called the P2P system, the peer to peer. So the narrative they
Yeah.
sell with the P2P system is that it is very, very safe and secure. For example, Safaricom and M-Pesa has never reported any case of cybercrime, any cyber attack. They've never reported any. So people are assured that their money is safe, and that is why people have
But
millions and millions and millions in their
you're not
e-wallets.
assured. You're not assured they're not gonna turn your shit off and steal your shit. You're
Hmm.
not secure about that. And they can at the end of a damn key at the end of a keystroke on a keyboard, keep all your shit. Say, ah, well, it's gone. Say, hey, that's my money. No, it ain't. It don't even exist.
And
Click of a button.
I actually did some research on how safe is. The P2P system is heavily database reliant. It is all up to do with database. It is the database remembering how much saving, how much money you have. When I transfer money to Joby, then what Joby will receive is just but a text message, and
Yeah.
then $2 will be deducted from my database and credited to her, and debited to her account, credited from mine. So it is heavily database reliant. And the database is the same one that stores the pins, the personal identification numbers. And so I was looking into how safe are
Uh,
the personal identification numbers. If I have the
they're not safe anymore. Everything could be hacked.
Yes.
Everything. So go ahead.
So the answer they gave me was, I was checking on the answer that I got was, the personal identification numbers are encrypted, they are hashed, they use a hashing mechanism. So even if a hacker was to access the database, they would see the pins, but they would not know what the pin is because it is apparently hashed and scripted by the system.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Please, you can miss me. You can miss me with that bullshit because everything, every everything that's data, and they can
Mm,
that's encrypted or anything that's and data can be hacked, and they can access your PIN. They've done it over and over again to major governments, to
mhm,
Russia, to America, to the CIA has been hacked. It was one of the most highly secure places on the planet. That place has been hacked by young hackers, and they got all the secret PIN numbers and decoded shit. Don't tell me
mhm.
in-patient has got more encryption than the CIA. So nah.
So, so that was data from the official Safaricom website. They say, don't worry, your pin is
Of course.
hashed.
Of
Your
course.
pin is
That's it.
encrypted. Worry not,
They're
kid.
not, they're not going to say, hey, our shit is fucked up. Be careful now. You might not want to put your shit in there all the time. Put a little of your stuff in there, but not all of it. They're not going to say that.
So, and Africa is a continent that relies on virtual money, and that means if anybody wanted to mess up with our economy, to mess up with us, they don't even need to send guns and boots to the ground. They only need to mess up the mobile banking system. They only need to touch on the so said, hashed, and scripted systems,
Yeah,
and the economy
you
goes
never put
down.
all your you never put all your eggs in one basket. That's
Mhm.
stupid. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't
Uh,
do that.
and my question was, how come mobile P2P transfer is not as popular in other places as it is in Africa? Because I saw not many other people use P2P systems, not many other people
because
use mobile
because
systems
because
as
because they don't-
popular.
because they don't trust it. They know eventually that's a way of stealing your money, a way of shutting you out the system. The Africans they just go along with stuff because they're like, well, it may be good, it may be not, but you should never put all your eggs in one basket. This doesn't make any sense. This is something you wouldn't do. You know, common sense would tell you no. I'm not going to do this. I'm gonna need cash just in case, and especially in Africa where the governments are really tyrannical too. These
Mhm.
despots can just turn on and off your cash at any time they want you. Then no one's ever accountable. Nah, I'm not putting my money in that shit.
If you ever woke up one day and found that the money in our systems has been erased, I think I'm one of the people who would need therapy. I would have to go for like 3 months of therapy because Blackout Fire would have to pay for my therapy.
And Black Eyed Fire told you, hey, you better put your shit, you better have some cash on hand. Stop having your hand, and stop having your phone all in digital on the phone currency.
Mhm.
Goddamn. So that'd be always I, I like, you shouldn't trust in nothing that much. And just on the fact of convenience. Yeah,
Mhm.
things are convenience. That's how they enslave you because of convenience. Oh man, this is convenient. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's convenient, but it's not. Is it to your benefit or your detriment? Because how far is it going to go when they can ever easily ban you? Put us up to more. Say um, Canadian truckers lose bank accounts,
Come again?
and say Canadian banking. Say Canadian truckers lose access to bank accounts. Their credit cards and shit were all turned off when they tried to protest the Canadian government 2 years ago because of the tyranny, because of the COVID lockdowns and the lies that were told. And so they wouldn't. So they shut all their money down, so they couldn't get gas and get to the capital. They shut all their shit
Oh,
down. Yeah,
I'm seeing Canada ends its freeze on hundreds of accounts tied to
yeah,
protests. Uh-huh.
yeah. They shut that down, and that's when they got their wig. Like, whoa, we're not putting our money all in one basket. Hell no. Yeah, they people lost all their money. They froze their shit. The more
How come I've
you
never thought
you
of this?
you tell you tell
If my money is in the e-wallet, the government can shut it, can freeze it. But if
yeah
it is cash, nobody can
you
freeze my cash.
yeah you never thought
Never
about
thought
that as a
about it like
human. Wow, man. I
that.
consider you a smart. I consider you a smart young man, Demore. You let me down.
I've never thought about it like that, kid. The fact that if I have money, but if the government can freeze my ass, and
Yeah,
you know.
They freeze them out their accounts for
Wow.
like years. They couldn't pay their bills. That was a sin. That was to punish them. How dare you? How dare you, no good bastards, think you're gonna protest against us? So yeah, that's the danger of it.
And
That's that.
I remember this time, like a month ago, I was coming from town and I passed, and there was this M-Pesa was not working on that day. There was this M-Pesa breakdown, and
Uh
vehicles were stuck in the gas station, like hundreds of vehicles at the gas station. They have
huh.
gotten fuel, but they don't have money to pay. The matatu
See,
that I was in, nobody had cash.
see, see. Now, if you had cash, you get cash. Hey man, get out the way. I gotta get some gas and get on out of here. Get your ass out my way. But nah, you too busy with your convenience until the convenience shuts down on your ass. But no, always always have some cash. Always have some cash on you. Don't allow yourself, don't allow the convenience to
Mhm.
eventually mess you up one day because that's what it's going to do because they can shut down your account. Let's say
That's
somebody looking at you now. Let's say somebody looking at you now, Demore. The government's looking at you now, right? They get mad at what you say. You go back to go hit your face. Say, hey, what's going on? My face is not working. You don't even know what's going on. The government like, yeah, it
let,
ain't working. You goddamn right.
let me end this show and withdraw all my money. not, having, not having money in M-Pesa anymore. I
I
need
mean, have
I
it.
need to
I
see
mean,
my
have.
money in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean, have it, the boy, but have it. Don't have all your money there. Don't you know? Don't be a moron.
And that was all. That was the our feature of the day on the cashless economy and the shift from hard cash to virtual money in Africa and how basically Africa is running on mobile money, e-wallets. Let us now look at what has been happening in other parts of Africa, and I'll start with South Sudan, where attackers shot and killed 15 people in South Sudan. So, unidentified assailants have taken the lives of 15 individuals in South Sudan, Pibor region, including the commissioner. So, South Sudan is battling with internal conflicts for quite some time since 2013. And so, today, 15 people were killed in Sudan by unknown assailants. So South Sudan joins another a multitude of African countries that are going through unrest and killings every day. The other one being DRC, close nearby. The other one being Ethiopia, Nigeria in there, and so many other countries. You know, with even Burundi and Somalia and almost every African country is going through some sponsored chaos. So that was what was happening in Sudan. And in other news, it looks like scientists are claiming to have eradicated HIV from infected cells using what they call the CRISPR gene editing technology. So it looks like there is hope of a HIV cure after breakthrough using the gene editing scissors. There's this new technology that they are calling gene editing. So just to explain it a little bit, it is where the the, the The technology acts as scissors, cutting DNA to remove or deactivate harmful sections. So they take your cell, then they cut into your DNA, and they remove or deactivate harmful sections. That is the part that has HIV can be deleted. In short, it can be cut with a scissor-like molecular scissor. It is called the CRISPR, CRISPR. So the goal is to completely
It's
eliminate
called
the
the
virus
CRISPR.
from the
It's
body.
called that's why it's called CRISPR. Yeah, the CRISPR
Yeah.
sense system, which is how they're doing all this transgender and other wicked shit they're doing. Talk about that
So,
damn 7 years
mhm.
ago. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So that is the technology that the technology won a Nobel Prize. By the way, it is the one that they are claiming was they used it and they were able to eradicate and edit the HIV virus from a DNA. So they are yet to test it on a human. They tested it using on some other thing on some other cell. Currently, HIV treatments can only suppress the virus but cannot eliminate it. That is the treatment that is available in the public domain, the public docket. It can only suppress using the ARVs, the antiretroviral drugs, but it cannot be able to eliminate it completely. Presenting the finding at a medical conference, the University of Amsterdam team emphasized that their work is still in early stages and not a cure, and they are yet to find a cure, but they had made steps forward with where they deleted and deactivated HIV virus from a cell. So Dr. James Dixon from the University of Nottingham also agreed, stating that further investigation is required and that they're headed in the right direction. So this is just to, it seems like a HIV cure might be in the market, in the public domain, in the public access in the
It's
next
already
coming year.
it's already cured for them already. You just don't
Is it in
know it.
the
They don't.
public? Is it in the public domain? Is it in
Yeah,
the
it is.
public?
Well, it is in the public
Can people access
some
it?
way, but it's not. They don't want it out there because they make
Mhm,
money. They make money on treatment systems. They don't make money off of. They don't make money off of the cures.
mhm,
They make money. They make money off the damn treatment. The more they don't never want any cure. It's always a
mhm,
lie. Their science is a lie. They don't want the cure. There's no money in the cure. There's money in the treatment. Cancer's been cured damn before I was even born by using
mhm,
old radio sounds. They know that, but um, they know that, but there's no money in the cure. I think it was cured like two times. Both those doctors they are murdered. If you can use sound waves to cure cancer, the more everything is remember vibration frequency. So you can use a certain frequency to cure the cells that carry cancer. They learned that back in like the 1930s, 100 years ago. And I think they killed that doctor. So they don't.
maybe that is maybe that is
There's
the
no money.
reason. Maybe that is the reason most doctors in the conference that thing was presented to, including one Dr. Jonathan Stoy from the Francis Crick Institute, was talking about how there might be long-term side effects if you remove or if you remove HIV from potentially infected cells. So they were against the removal of HIV from a potentially infected cell,
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
that
I don't.
there is a risk of a long-time side effect.
The system was set up by the rock. Shout out to the Chinese guy on TikTok. I'm gonna see this video. That Chinese guy, I mean, last time the truth. They know the Jews came into China. I know they knew that much. They
Mhm,
changed their hospital system. The hospital system we got today, Demore, is all a lie. It's fake science based on wicked motherfuckers who wanted to have control over everything. So they set the whole medical system around the whole planet. Wicked as shit. And it's not about curing anything. It's about treating the system because money, when you just treat a system, eventually you're gonna die, but you're gonna make money. But so like there's never no cure. They never cure shit because they don't want to cure nothing. There's
mhm,
no money to cure it. If I cure it, where's the money at? I can't keep making money, but if I just treat your symptoms, you
mhm,
keep coming back, I'm constantly making money. You understand? The system is set up by wicked motherfuckers, more. And the whole system was set up by the Rockefellers years ago. So when you understand that, it's not about anything, any kind of scientific journal you read, the more is most likely a fucking lie. That's how deep this treachery goes. Most science we learn today is absolutely nonsense, lies. You're like, what? Yeah, whole system. Like, how can that be true? But it is. Most science we get today is all made up, fake conjecture. That's like the theory of this, theory of that. Nothing's ever a fact. It's the theory of this, theory of that. And they say then once you believe it's a fact, that's only a theory. But there's never no cure. Why don't they never cure nothing more? Why don't they never cure shit? They didn't cure the common cold. They didn't cure that shit yet. There's never no
and
cure. It's
and in
always
something in
take these aspirins, take this and keep the system, but they never cure nothing. But go ahead, you guys.
and that is why Danny Harrison is saying they make money off a treatment, not the cure. And in some other related news,
Exactly.
it also looks like there is a competition on they look like there is a circumcision contest going on in Africa, because talking about infections, a Kenyan MP, his name is John Kagushia, wants male circumcision made mandatory in Kenya, citing increase in HIV infections. So he has said he's taking a bill to parliament where he has argued that circumcision should be made mandatory with emphasis on safety during the procedure as a mean to curb infections. He said that the practice should be made a matter of public health concern, regardless of one's cultural or religious position on the matter. So this is a bill that is going to be taken to parliament where male circumcision in Kenya is going to be made mandatory. The MP cited public health concern, and his main reason was people who are uncircumcised are more likely to
He's saying you.
contract
He's saying
HIV
you.
and other diseases.
He's saying if you're not circumcised, the more you got a nasty penis.
Mhm.
That's what he's saying. you got
so,
you got bacteria on your penis.
so I don't
That's
know
what he's
what I
saying.
actually wanted to ask you what to think about this bill to make male circumcision in Kenya mandatory. What do you think about it?
I don't know if that's. I like being circumcised because it looks normal, but I don't think that's true. I think that's another lie. I don't think because it's proven that even when you're not circumcised, as long as you're clean and as long as you keep yourself, as long as you bathing regularly, there's no problem with you being uncircumcised. But if you're nasty, if you're not hygienic, yeah,
Mhm.
bacteria can form in that foreskin. But
I'm actually supporting him on this. I'm with him on this
okay, okay, no wrong with
because
that.
if you look at the region in the country where HIV prevalence is high, there's only one community in Kenya that does not practice male circumcision, and it lives
Who's
in the
that?
Nyanza region. It lives in the Nyanza region near the lake,
Okay,
and that is where
okay.
HIV prevalence in the country is high. There is
Oh,
so many cases of HIV.
oh, thank you. Because
Actually
when I get to
supporting him
Kenya, I
on
won't be
this.
messing with no women around then.
Avoid the lake
I,
region.
I, I,
Avoid the
I,
Lake
I live,
Victoria
I,
region.
live, I live in you, Maureen. all those,
Yeah.
all those, all those women you can have.
But they're the most curvaceous women in Kenya, though.
Oh, there. So what? And curvaceous ain't got nothing to do with no. I got AIDS, the more. What am I gonna do with that?
Something must kill a man. Kid. Something must kill a man.
That ain't. I don't want to get killed by that. I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want to die in agony, Demore. No matter.
Yes,
I'm good.
I
I'm good.
hardly, I hardly agree. I hardly side with Kenyan MPs, but on this, I side with John Kabushia, the
He's
Mukurweini
probably
MP.
right. Huh?
Male circumcision should be made mandatory in Kenya because it's a matter of public health concern. Because once you get HIV, you're not going to be economically productive. You are a burden to all of us. So we don't want you getting HIV. So we are gonna get you cut by force.
Usually they do it when you're a baby anyway, though. The more you got, usually got no America, you ain't got no choice. You got no choice. They do it when you're a baby. Shit.
Yeah, so let us look at other parts of Africa where in a related news with what we were talking about today, an Ethiopian bank is seeking to recover millions lost after technical glitch. So there is this Ethiopia's bank. It is actually the biggest bank in Ethiopia. Is attempting to recover more than 40 million US dollars after a technical glitch allowed customers to withdraw more than they had in their accounts. This is good.
You ain't
This
getting
is
that money
good.
back. That money gone.
But people have already withdrawn the money. So there was a technical glitch in this bank. What is the name of this bank? Let me look at the name of the bank. So the glitch allowed people to withdraw more than they had. You have $10, but you can withdraw 100, and people withdrew 40 million US dollars, and now they are looking
God,
to they are
God
looking
damn.
to recover the money.
Yeah. Keep on looking for that.
News of the glitch. News of the glitch on Saturday was spread on social media by university students who withdraw much of the money.
I got my
They,
I got my I got my tuition fees.
the bank has not said how much was withdrawn, but the CEO told reporters that half a million transactions were made during the glitch. So about 2.4 billion Ethiopian birr, that is 42 million, was lost. The system was caused by a routine system update and inspection. That is what they said. And the commercial bank, I've not seen the name of the bank. They don't want to mention it, but they lost that much money from just a
It's,
small technical glitch.
it's called the Bank of Morons.
No, but that is good. Imagine withdrawing money you don't have, stealing from the bank. This is good. This
That's a
is
technical glitch. Let me tell you, technical glitches don't happen. Okay.
Yeah, and
Now
lastly, in Kenya, doctors enter the seventh day nationwide strike. Doctors in Kenya are on a strike for the seventh consecutive day,
okay.
accusing the government of failing to implement many promises that they had, including having their salaries raised. And the Kenya medical practitioners is saying that the government has failed to post 1,200 medical interns, which has made the work for the doctors hard because they need the interns to help them with some of the work. So it is the seventh day that doctors are on a strike in Kenya. So if you want treatment, you have to go to a private hospital. So of course, you can tell this has had a lot of effect on people who cannot afford private hospitals, and the doctors are asking the government to fasten the process of posting the interns and listening to their cries and woes. That is all we had on the Black Hot Fire News update on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Big shout out to Danny Harrison, who was with me, telling me they make money off treatment, not the cure. Rockefeller and the Rothschild took natural herbs out of medication in favor of their generic medication. That is why they give you drugs for anything. There's even I saw there's even drugs for ADHD. There's drugs for they treat even they treat everything and anything just to make sure they get money. That is the big pharma. So that was all we had on a night where attackers shoot 15 people dead, shot and killed 15 people dead in South Sudan. On a night where hopes of HIV cure on the rise after breakthrough using gene editing scissors. It is also a night where Barisao Diomaye, that is one of the Senegalese presidential election protestants, was released from prison with his counterpart. His name is with his assistant, and now they have been in the streets rallying for support. It is also a night where Ethiopian bank is seeking to recover millions that were lost after a technical glitch. It is also a night where Kenyan doctors are on the seventh consecutive day of a nationwide strike. We had been talking about cashless economy in Africa and how Africa has been shifting from hard cash to virtual money and especially mobile money. And as kids said, don't be a moron. Don't put
But what
all your
about the
eggs in one
what?
basket.
Well, they're not giving the doctors the digital or the regular currency at the morning. They're
In
not
whatever,
they're not get they're not getting the hard cash or the digital.
none, they're getting none of it. And especially for those who are watching this stream or are going to watch this stream later from Africa, make sure you always have cash on you. In whatever you do,
That's
make sure you always have
that's
cash on you.
that's why I told you that currency left in Kenya is phony. You can't even pay the doctors. The currency is a lie.
But our GDP grew more than that of the United States, but
I,
you cannot
I
pay doctors.
know I know it's exciting.
You can tell our doctors to get your
It's like
payments from the GDP.
you're making all this money, your shilling is going balling out of control, and yet you still can't pay the doctors and the nurses. What you
But
doing?
in as much as we are laughing at it with kids, it is a very sad state of affair because for those Kenyans who cannot afford private hospitals, who cannot afford private healthcare, they are really suffering. They have to be treated by nurses and other practitioners because they are not doctors. The doctors are on a strike for the seventh consecutive day. And your president is asking for those who booed him to be arrested. I've not heard him talk about the doctor strike. He's more concerned about people who booed him. And two people were arrested yesterday. two people who booed the president in a meeting that he had in Kericho County were arrested, and they will be arraigned in court. The charges: booing the president, heckling at the president. How dare you do that? So
What are you kidding me? Are you kidding? What? That doesn't make any sense. Thank you. You make it
no, that
all.
that,
Yeah.
that actually happened yesterday.
Come on. How's that a crime? And you can look. So I'm getting arrested for heckling the president, and you got all your money
Yeah,
in digital cash, and you crazy?
you get you you're getting 4 years in prison for heckling the president.
That's your right, Demore. You live in a
You'll be
free
there.
country.
You'll be there in the prison cafeteria conversing with the other inmates, and they'll be like, "I killed a person. I robbed the bank." And then when it's your turn, you
What'd you
say, "I
do?
hate the president. I booed the president."
which is legal, Demore. You live in a free speech system, which is legal. You didn't do anything illegal. That's your right. That's your right. And you want to put all your money in digital currency? Are you crazy? You going to jail for heckling?
Zoe tells me she's not up to date, so I guess that's all we had today on the Black Hot Fire Network, Kenya. I don't know if Maria and Innocent to have anything planned for you, but make sure to join me tomorrow on the Black Hot Fire News Update as we'll be looking at the madness, the theatrics,
No, I
and
told
the
her to take the day
drama
off. I wasn't gonna be
in
able to get over to it, so I told her to take the day off. In a couple of weeks tomorrow, I'm gonna have Spikes coming in the back
Kenya.
room, probably like at 5 o'clock when the girls are gone, and teach you how to put your articles up on the network.
Okay, okay, Keith.
Yeah.
So enjoy
Yes,
the rest of your day, family. It's always a pleasure having you.
you too. Enjoy your day. Don't be a moron. Don't put all your money in digital currency because if you heckle the president, they take you to jail. You think they're gonna do with your money?